Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Astral Jewels. Hope you're doing well. We're at the end of November. So, all those that are celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. I hope it's a peaceful day for you. And it may not be, considering what's going on between Mercury and Saturn, which is connected to what goes on in terms of communication with families, but I'll get more into that shortly. So we are going into December. So the December review, here we go. Okay, so just bear with me. I've got all sorts of slides, as you know. Doing the astrology readings it's not easy. I've got to sort of be on the ball with, I've got a heap of slides to show you. So I hope you follow them. If you're using your phone, you might want to, you probably will have to expand what I'm showing you here so that you can see them properly. And I know this gets a little bit confusing for some people because I know absolutely nothing about astrology, and I get that. It takes decades to become a good astrologer. I've been doing it for over 2 now. And as most of you are aware, I do sidereal astrology, which is in line with the sky. So I don't do mainstream tropical astrology, which is what most astrologers use. And, I've given the reason for that many times. So you can go onto my website, astraljewels.com, and I've got a short video explaining why I actually do use the sidereal. And remember, there's 23.4 degrees difference. And sidereal is in line with the sky. It's visual, right? And we know that we've been lied to since, like, all of our lives. And astrology is no different. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So I do sidereal. So you may not be the sun sign you thought you were. So there's a lot of people getting lessons on astrology as a result of the slides that I'm bringing up, and they're getting more of a grasp of what actually goes on in the sky, which is a really good thing. So one of my missions from God is about awareness of forces, which is planetary forces, and how they affect your life. Now, astrology is often seen as some form of a romantic, thing that we watch on, through magazines and newspapers. And it has been that for a long, long time. But there's a massive science behind astrology, and the forces are what affect us, what animate us, what make us think the way we do and do what we do. So it is important to get just a grasp of the bigger nature of what astrology is. Okay, it's not just for entertainment purposes, and I know that a lot of people have taken it on that level. Many don't have a choice but to take it on that level because they don't really understand it, and I get that. So bear with me on all the detailed parts. In India, might be something that you don't know, they use sidereal astrology, and astrology is a science in India. It's actually a science. It's taken very, very seriously. But, in Western countries, not the case. But it is a thing. And if you can start stargazing as a result of learning a bit more about astrology, then all the better. That's a really good thing that you could get into. Okay, guys, so we have from the 17th of November to the 15th of December, Sun in Scorpio. So some of you might not have thought you were a Scorpio, but you actually are. So that's the dates for that. So it goes right through to the 15th of December. 15th of December is actually an interesting day, and I'll get into that as we go forward. There's a full moon on the 15th, and there's more going on. It's a big full moon. Okay, so I'll talk about that shortly. So Scorpios, happy birthday. And if you know, Scorpio is one of the bigger constellations in the sky. It's very easy to see, but it's huge. So it's this great big sweeping constellation, and it's just magnificent when you're able to see it. And the alpha star in Scorpio is Antares, and it has got very similar energy to Mars. It's got that Mars willful, fiery, fighting energy, which we know Scorpio also has. And Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto happens to be a higher mode of Mars. So, you know, Antares feeling like Mars energy, you know, it fits. And it's really something very tangible that you can tune into. So don't just take my word for it. Go out and start doing some stargazing, and you'll understand what I'm saying. Okay, now next, Sun in Sagittarius from the 16th of December to the 14th of January. Okay, so some of you think that you're Aquarians. Oh, sorry, Capricorn. All these different constellations. But you know, you've got to go 23.4 degrees into the previous sign to get your correct sun sign. Okay, so from the 16th of December to the 14th of Jan, you are Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is, you know, it's the big one. It's huge. That energy is very buoyant and expansive. It's a fantastic energy. And interestingly, the center of our galaxy is also in Sagittarius. It's somewhere between 6 and 10 degrees Sagittarius. It's the center of the Milky Way. Center of the Milky Way. And yeah, interestingly, I have my own Jupiter force at I think it's 6 or 7 degrees, Sagittarius. So it's right in the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way. Okay, so happy birthday to those who are Sagittarians and maybe didn't know that they were Sagittarians. So that's coming from the 16th of December onwards. Okay, so now I'm going to get into what's going on with the wheels. So you might want to expand this or just listen to what it is that I'm going to say about what's going on in the sky. So just bear with me while I've got to click onto another screen so I can see, personally, I can see it better. So what's going on from the 1st of December? So that's the first wheel that I've brought up. And as you will probably notice, there's not much difference between the end of November and the 1st of December, but I'm just keeping it on a monthly basis here just to make it easier for me, actually, because it just gets too confusing going from one month to another, and there's angles everywhere, there's symbols everywhere. It can be quite confusing. So what's going on the 1st of December? The sun is, by the way, it's a new moon. The new moon is on the 1st of December. Okay, and it's in Scorpio. It's not in Sagittarius, it's in Scorpio. Okay, sun is conjunct the moon opposite Jupiter. Now the Sun-Jupiter force, the Sun-Jupiter opposition, very buoyant. You know, remember Jupiter is the big gun in the sky. And, you know, the Scorpio energy ruled by Pluto, we've got the Pluto energy in there. It's continuing on this transformation that's going on in the world. And as we know, Trump got in, and you know, those that are in the know and wanting to know what's going on have been following what he has been saying and doing, and what RFK, Make America Healthy Again, is doing. Now they're saying a lot of things, but what we want to see is action. Okay, now it's very likely that, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background. You know, Trump is choosing his team, and you know, we're basically waiting for the 20th of January before things really really become visible in the external world. But there is a lot going on in the background, you know, and bear in mind, you know, there's this supposed war with Russia, you know, growing. Is that actually happening? That's another thing. But what's happening with this Sun and Jupiter is this expansion in things to do with transformation. But it can also have a negative side with a lot of, you know, dark stuff going on, which, you know, Scorpio, everything has a positive and a negative. And with Scorpio, we can see the negative of Pluto, which is, you know, dark forces trying to push their influence on the world, which is something that we have experienced most of our lives, and for a long time unconsciously. So with the Sun opposite Jupiter here, there's this real push towards a buoyancy and an expansion of what is taking place in the world. On your own personal level, this is like, it's a really great time. Jupiter, everything that it touches, there's jovialness. That's another positive to it, a real feel-good energy. And with the Sun involved, that is just, you know, it's sort of like that fun on steroids, right? But it's not all that, because there's a lot of other stuff going on in the chart. But you might be feeling that. For some people, there is a mass push towards transformation. That's been going on for quite a while. I'm talking years, and it's been going on ever since Pluto went into Capricorn, and also the force of Uranus making change happen, sudden changes as Uranus is in Taurus. Now, Mercury is something to look at, and it's currently in a retrograde position. Now, just be careful with the Mercury retrograde, guys. You've got to keep track of everything that you do, all your communication. Make sure you've got control of what's going on. So this is not a period where you trust other people to do things for you. You really have got to, you know, cross the T's and dot the I's when Mercury goes retrograde. Keep in control of what you're doing, what you're organizing particularly. It's a good time to actually organize, but don't give your project to somebody else to organize. Unless they're extremely trustworthy. And even then, you should always keep an eye on what they're doing. Don't lose track of it, because things will go, they'll go ape. They go wrong, and they do. So we've got a Mercury retrograde opposite a Jupiter retrograde, and it's square Neptune. Now this combination is not too bad at all. When Neptune comes in with Jupiter, it's a lot of generosity, compassion, very you know, a lot of buoyancy of spirit, right? So that's a positive there. Now with Mercury retrograde and Jupiter retrograde together, when you've got them in an angle, there's a lot of communication going on, and it's intense, right? The retrogrades, they burrow in, so that that energy, it expands even more so. There's a lot of it, okay? So some of us, and we're not seeing a huge amount coming out via mainstream media in terms of what Trump is organising in the background. We still haven't seen a huge amount of reveals, but I think they are coming. All right, but this retrograde, you can rest assured that, you know, the alliance and, you know, those trying to do the right thing have got this force moving for them, working for them. Mercury, Jupiter, it's a lot of communication. That is what's going on. So what we need to watch out what's going on underground, because it's not all being revealed. And I'll get to the reason as to why that is shortly. Now we've got Venus moving along. Venus is conjunct Pluto, and also trine Uranus and square Chiron. Now, Venus and Pluto together, we've got to be careful because it's love and destruction. Taken on higher mode, you know, we could see things being destroyed that are not what we love. Yay, we can see that. But we also have to be careful of the destructive side of it. So what we do love gets destroyed. Now, we've got some people in the population that don't like what's being destroyed. But, you know, this is what's going to happen. It is what's happening. Venus trine Uranus, you know, Venus-Uranus combination is about different, loving things that are different. So this force could actually be helping you move away from the norms of what you like. And it's not just, you know, the normal red roses and chocolates, which is normally what Venus, you know, Venus loves what it loves, right? When you've got Uranus coming in there, it's all about quirkiness, eccentricity, different, non-conforming things, you know, and you might have a change of mood where you decide, you know what, I want to change it up. I want to wear something different. You know, I want to have my hair different, you know, do things differently. So Venus, Uranus there can herald in change in terms of the things that you normally would love, and you're going to start changing what it is that you like. Okay, and with Uranus is currently in Taurus, there is that change going on of what you value. Your value system is changing. So what you did value, yeah, right, I'm going to change it up a bit, right? And we've got Venus in on the act. Now, Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So we've got to, you know, that strengthens this energy here. So watch this Venus Uranus energy. That's really quite interesting. Now, we've got Mars opposite Pluto, and it's trine the Sun. Now, this is really powerful, very, very powerful force. I've spoken about the Mars-Pluto in last month's podcast on the review. Now, Pluto was a higher mode of Mars. And so this energy is very intense. It's forcing things to happen. Mars is all about will. And when you've got Pluto in on this, it's a lot of will, a lot of action. It can also present war, because Mars is really good with fighting. It's the warrior energy. Okay, so with Pluto, it just is on steroids. Okay, and with the Sun also angled to Mars, it's highlighting it. So it's like there's a spotlight on this energy. So very, very, very strong. Now, Jupiter retrograde is also square Saturn, as it's opposite Mercury and opposite the Sun. Now, Saturn playing here, it's got its good bits and bad bits. Now, in terms of Thanksgiving dinner, Remember, Saturn is in Aquarius. And, that's the ruler of things to do with communities and groups, humanitarian, causes, so to speak, friends and acquaintances. And this can include family, right? Now, this Saturn in Aquarius over things like Thanksgiving and Christmas, we have to be careful, especially when Mercury is involved, because it's communication. So watch what you say on Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, watch your P's and Q's. Sometimes, sometimes people, they say, what are you doing for Christmas? I'm going to family. And, one of the saying is, I don't know why I put myself through this. I really don't know why I put myself through the disagreements, personality clashes. It's really, really difficult. And this is no exception. So we've got a caution here. Jupiter wants to expand things, and you're going to oscillate between the Jupiter and Saturn energy. So Saturn's quite dry and serious. It can be a difficult energy when you take it on the lower mode. So Jupiter wants to have fun. Saturn says, watch out, right? So be cautious of what you do and say over Thanksgiving and over Christmas, because it could be a little bit difficult. I mean, you know that. You know what you're heading into, but the forces are basically going to have it in your face. So just be aware of that. Now we've got Uranus is still trine Pluto, sextile Neptune. So the Pluto, Neptune, Uranus has been together for many, many months. I don't have the dates, but it's for a long time. These are all trans-Saturnian planets. They're all to do with the higher modes of humanity and also yourself personally. The fact that they are all angled together is making a statement that what is happening on Earth is a global push for change. It's part of the Great Awakening that is going on. So these are massive forces, and they're still in play, so they're still going to have an effect. Now, I have to say, guys, all the tropical astrologers have been saying that Pluto is in Aquarius. It is not. It is not. It is currently at 6 degrees Capricorn, and I have said this several times already. And, with this one, I actually like to repeat myself because it's factually presenting itself in your face in terms of events that are happening. Pluto is the bulldozer. It is the transformer. It is going to change the structures that we rest on. And we know the structures that we rest on have been hijacked. We know our governments don't work in our favour. We know things are going down the gurgler in terms of our medical model, science, what a joke that is, our education system, our agricultural system. Reel them off. These structures are poisoning us. They're programming us. We've got supposed experts lying to us. It's got to go down. Now, Pluto takes 248 years to go around the Earth. Okay, so if you go back 248, 250 years and look at historical events, you will see that Pluto was in Capricorn during the Renaissance, the Crusades, the Reformation. A lot of things happened historically when Pluto was in Capricorn. Now, we know factually that those systems have not yet gone down. We're at the forefront of pushing those structures out of our lives. They have to go down. right? Now that's Pluto in Capricorn, and it's only just started. It's only at 6 degrees. We've got many, many years of Pluto in Capricorn to go. So it is not in Aquarius. Get your stellarium app. It'll tell you where it is, and it is not in Aquarius. Don't be fooled. You know, I take this seriously. You probably take it as, just, it's just astrology. It doesn't mean anything. But people are believing what's going on, and people are taking it seriously, and it's off. It's off center. Anyway, you make up your mind as to what it is you want to use. But if you've got half a thinking brain, you will start looking into it and notice what's going on, because it ain't in Aquarius. And by the way, Pluto in Aquarius does not mean it's the golden age. It's not heralding in the age of Aquarius. It really has got nothing to do with Pluto itself. And nobody can measure the exact date that will occur. And I believe it'll be a transitionary thing, and it will be phased in over time. And all of a sudden you'll start noticing, oh, wow, we're in the golden age, right? But a lot of stuff has to change. A lot of stuff has to change before that happens. And we're right at the forefront of making that happen. And, for the golden age to occur, we have to be participants in what goes on. All right. So just because Trump got in and says, all of these things are going to be done, we now have to hold them to account, and don't just sit back and rest on things happening. So being complacent and trusting, even trusting the plan, it sounds great in theory, but you're doing yourself a disservice by not being part of it. Be in it and make sure things are done. We're in the information age, so you need to be informed of what's going on. So that is a thing, and something to be very, very aware of. You really have to take note of it. Grant, I hope that the whole Q plan is correct. I really, really do. But there's been enough lying going on where we have to stop this blind trust and become participants in our own lives and start having sovereignty over our own lives. Now, that is not going to happen just by believing what somebody says they're going to do. We need to see that they are going to do what it is they say that they are going to do. So participate. Okay. Now, I'm going forward to the 15th of December. Okay, and we've still got the sun opposite Jupiter, but we've got a full moon happening on the 15th of December. And so that full moon is conjunct Jupiter, and of course it's opposite the sun. That's how it works. Now this is, again, this is a magnificent set of forces. This energy is really, really good. So the moon is illuminating Jupiter. When you have a Jupiter moon in your natal chart, these people are very, very generous, very giving. This force is likened to the Italian mama who wants to feed everyone and make sure you've got enough to eat. They take care of people. They take charge and take care of people. It's a very, very nurturing energy here. So this full moon is it's going to feel really good, I believe. This generous giving, interesting. We've got Mercury at the same time opposite Jupiter still. and it's going to go out of retrograde on the 15th. And I'm not sure of the exact time that it's happening, but it's still retrograde, and it's going to jump out of retrograde on the 15th. It's going to go forward. So on the full moon, again, communication, it might be something that you really want to hear is actually said. And that can be something like the EBS, for example. It's generally good news. These forces are saying good news. So watch out for the 15th of December. That full moon's going to be very interesting. You might not get much sleep because it's going to be so big. You'll be excited. It's quite a big astral force there. But, you know, in terms of receiving good news on a personal level, of course, great. You know, this would be a lovely time to propose to your girlfriend or even, you know, your boyfriend. Just that generosity in communication. You know, maybe you want to use this day as a day of saying to your friends or loved ones those things that you never say, but you should say, like, gee, I appreciate you. I am so glad that I have you as a friend. Those sorts of things. Don't hold back with what, you know, those beautiful things that you want to say, those things that we don't say. You know, I appreciate you. And I appreciate you because whatever, because you listen to me, or you care about me, or I feel like you care about me. You know, let those things come out of your mouth. Good day for it. Really good day. We've still got Mercury squaring Saturn during that time. Against, you know, it could be that you write it down, because Saturn gives structure. Saturn will make it formal and make sure you do it right. So maybe you need to write out what it is that you want to say before you actually say it to your friend. Maybe you want to write a love letter. Great time to write a love letter. Beautiful. Let's keep it nice. And we've also got Mars. Mars is retrograde from the 6th of December. We've got to watch this one. Now, Mars retrograde, you know, when a planet's retrograde, it's basically spinning on the spot. It's not moving forward. And this is going to, it intensifies the energy. And Mars intensified is action. Now, this Mars opposite Pluto could be what they're running this World War III scare event on, and the so-called, you know, the bombs that are going off in Russia from the Ukraine. I think word has come out officially that it's NATO that are behind it. Now, you're not going to hear that on mainstream media, of course, but we've known that for a long, long time. But I think something came out recently where it was, you know, verbally acknowledging NATO's role in those actions. That's typically Mars, Pluto energy. And from the 6th of December, just watch what goes on the 6th of December as Mars is retrograde. Full on energy, a lot of action, right? And because Mars is also trine Mercury, that's a lot of intense communication that's going to take place. And, you know, Mercury is in Scorpio, so it's the transformer, deep stuff, hidden communications come out with Mercury in Scorpio. Scorpio, Pluto, it's all underworld, underground, hidden secrets. So there's likely to be communication on that. Wouldn't it be nice to see a lot of reveals like the Epstein list, and look at what's come out in regard to Diddy. So I think Epstein, once that comes out, it's going to be even bigger, way bigger than the whole Diddy crowd. So very interesting. So watch this Mars energy. And Mars is opposite Venus. So we've got the male-female dialectic going on. Is it seeking balance, or is this push for changing those things that we love? A Venus Pluto energy is also very creative. Creative energy comes in here. So on a personal level, for those that are, generally, if you are a creative person, you're going to have a big surge of inspiration come while Venus is conjunct Pluto and opposite Mars, because there's going to be a lot of energy there for you to act. Now, for those that are not normally creative, you may get this, oh, I want to draw something, I want to paint something, I want to make something. That's likely to happen. And with that Mars retrograde energy, it's really going to force something willfully. Now, the Mars retrograde goes from the 6th of December to the 24th of February. So that's a long stint. So just be aware of that. Whoa, very strong, very powerful. And we've got Jupiter sextile Chiron. Now, Chiron, is the wounded healer. And at the moment, I'm really wanting to take it on a global level to look at the woundedness of the world. And, over the last 6 months, we've had many things angling to Chiron that is sort of igniting change. It's bringing it out. It's bringing out the wounds, and so that they can be worked on. And this is on a personal level also, guys. And Chiron is in Pisces, so this Piscean energy, and it can be this woundedness over having been fooled for a long time, delusion. It can also be that wound of separation from the whole God thing. So your spiritual roots, your spirituality, being wounded, being kept from the heights of your spiritual being, can be part of this. Okay, so Jupiter's coming along, and boom, it's going to make this energy bigger so that you can see it and you can work on it. And Chiron initially is all about your wounds. And the whole thing about Chiron is to work on them, transform them. You transcend your wounds so that you become the teacher of your wounds. Everybody has them. And everyone in some period of their life are confronted with things that really are in their face, that hurt them a lot, and they have to be dealt with. So Chiron's very much been in the picture all along in this great awakening period for humanity. So it's working on a human level, on the global level and the human personal level. And I'm no exception, because I've had things come back into my consciousness that I thought that I dealt with and I hadn't. And you just have to look at it, feel it, get clarity, and choose differently. We've got to change. So, and it's good at the moment with Uranus changing your value system so that you're not stuck in the same rut and believing the same thing over and over and over again. It's a real opportunity to change what you see in the world as valuable. It's a game changer. Good old Uranus doing its thing. Jupiter is still square Saturn. Jupiter Saturn together can be difficult, especially if somebody's got angles of Jupiter and Saturn in their chart, because Jupiter loves a party, loves expansion, buoyancy, big. It always thinks big. Saturn does, it's cautious. It wants you to do things right. If you're going to have a party, you've got to make sure it's all organized. It's that type of energy. And so Saturn and Jupiter don't play that well together, particularly on lower mode, because you just want to have fun. Saturn's going, yeah, but do it right. It can be really frustrating. Now, it's actually good at the moment that Saturn is angling to Jupiter whilst all these changes are going on in the world. So between now and, with the Trump transition, there's a lot that has to happen. A lot of changes have got to be made, but it's got to be done right. So on one level, there's this massive, big buoyancy going on, big expansion, and yay, let's have a party. But let's not lose sight of the fact that they have to be done right, right? We don't want to go through this again. You reincarnate time and time again, and if you have to come back into this shit show, you won't want it. Do it now. Let's make this happen and let's do it right. And Saturn is going to be a real asset with these changes taking place. Okay, so and the Jupiter moon conjunction, the full moon, it's great. It is a good time for a party on that day, I believe. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It should be a great day. Okay, so I'm moving to the end of the month. And what have we got? We've got another full moon. So there's new moon. There's two new moons in December. Okay, but the second new moon is in Scorpio. So the second new moon is in Sagittarius. The first one is in Scorpio. The second one is in Sag. Cool. And the sun is sextile Neptune as that happens. That is a beautiful force for high spiritual beings. It is a great time for aspiring for your inner self, for the real you to come out. It's a beautiful energy. It's a great energy for aspirations on a high level, asking for help, asking to manifest. And it's just before New Year's Day. So set the impulse perhaps for your whole year to be one of, a Sun-Neptune force. Beautiful energy. Aspire for the best for humanity. Aspire for all the help from angelic beings, from the alliance. All of those things come into being. Sun Neptune. It's a gorgeous energy. We've still got Mercury opposite Jupiter. So we had a long stint of this Mercury Jupiter, a lot of communication. Squaring Saturn, make sure you say the right thing, do it right. Structured communication, which is exactly what has to go down since Trump was elected. A lot of stuff is coming out. Structured communication. If you've got a Mercury Saturn going on in your chart, it's generally you're a great communicator and you do it properly. This is a good one for writing a book, that type of energy, where you need to structure what it is that you need to say, and it's got to be done right. Yay. Mars still retrograde, still opposite Pluto. That's going to go on for quite a while. Big energy, big energy. So, the end of December, it's sort of the same story. It's a lot of this mercurial energy, a lot of communication, really intense energy for the entire month of December. This Pluto Mars, some people absolutely thrive on that energy. It's like they need that energy to push them forward. And so, some people they revel in it because they get a lot done. Can be very fulfilling when you complete tasks, and the Pluto Mars energy will do that. There is a lot going to happen. A lot going to happen. So you personally are likely to get a lot done. Don't underestimate yourself. If you've been in a rut, just change your mindset a little bit into the I can do, and you might surprise yourself as to just how much it is you can do. You may surprise yourself. Now, just hang on. I'm just going to check for you if I can do this. Right. So this is my little animation applet here, and I've just got it set for the 25th of December. So that's Christmas Day, and there's not much difference. Again, we've still got Mercury opposite Jupiter. Mercury by then is not retrograde; it's going forward. So that's a relief. That's a great thing. So there's a lot of communication. Watch out for your value system. Interestingly, on that day, Uranus has gone back into Aries. Whoa, that's interesting. I'm just going to have a look at how long that's been going on. I've missed that one. Just hang on. All right, it started on the whoa, goodness. That started on the 14th of December. Uranus went back into Aries at 29 degrees. So it's right on the cusp, but it's in Aries. That's fighting energy. Okay. And that's going to continue on, and it's going to be that on the 25th, right through. Just a sec. It's going to be in Aries right through till, I'm just going to get the date. Just a sec. January. All through January. I won't go any further than that, but all through January, it's going into Aries. Fighting energy. When you've got Uranus Aries, it's Uranus Mars energy. That's revolutionary energy. That's all fighting energy, guys. Revolution. We're having a revolution, and we are. We are absolutely having a revolution. What else? We've still got on the 25th, so Christmas Day, we've still got Mercury is trine Mars. Forceful communication coming out. Be careful what you say at the Christmas dinner table. Just be aware. We've got Mercury also squaring Saturn. That is still going on there. And Saturn is squaring Jupiter. Again, you really have got to watch out for your communication. Just be very aware. Whoa. I'm glad I brought that animation applet up, because I would have missed that. Uranus going into Aries. Woo! Okay, so to the full moon, guys, and the new moon, 1st of December, new moon in Scorpio. So aspire to transform your emotional blocks. Look at the Scorpio energy about transformation, ruled by Pluto. Seek clarity on what your issues are and move through them. And this could be a major shift that you need to take in your life. You're aspiring to transform. You may need to change your entire way of doing things. Maybe it's a decision, you know what? I am not going to do Christmas with family this year. I'm going to do something different. Now, that would be a major shift for many people. If you've spent the last 10 years being miserable on Christmas dinner, why do it? Why are you doing it? Think about it. Anyway, it could be any situation in your life that you've had a block with, an issue with. And now is the time to get through it, move through it, and make the changes. So there's your 1st of December, new moon in Scorpio. Then we've got the 15th of December is the full moon, which we've spoken about. Full moon is in Taurus. And remember, that full moon is conjunct Jupiter. So it's expansive, big. And we've got Mercury playing in all of it. Good old Mercury. It's really playing a part. Then at the end of the month, on the 31st of December, we've got a second new moon and it's in Sagittarius. So aspire for your truth and align with universal truth. That's great Sagittarian energy, universal truth. And expand your world. Make it bigger. Participate in your life. Get your sovereignty. Get these political idiots out of your consciousness and stop needing them to be the ruler of what goes on in your life. Okay, now to the retrogrades, guys. We've got Mercury has been retrograde since the 26th of November and it finishes on the 15th of December. Mars retrograde from the 6th of December right through to the 24th of February. It's going to be an interesting transition, I believe, for the Trump administration. It's really interesting with this retrograde Mars. A lot is going to get done. So watch this yourself. Very intense energy. If you're subject to a lot of stress, you want to watch this. Just be careful. You might need to relax a bit, right? Because it's going to be really intense. If you are subject to a lot of anger, well, people are going to not want to be around you during this energy, right? It's a good time to learn what you do with your Mars energy. Is it too over the top? Just be careful. Then we've got Jupiter retrograde from the 9th of October. It's been a long one through to the 4th of February. But Jupiter is generally expansive. It's a good time. It's a good time. Then Saturn has finished its retrograde on the 15th, so that's done. And Uranus is still retrograde now, and it goes to the 30th of January. Neptune finishes its retrograde on the 7th of December. Let's see if you don't have some aha moments when it starts going forward, because Neptune can be quite a delusional type energy. So you're being fooled. How much of this stuff is a psyop? What is real? What is not real? It's difficult. And good old Neptune being retrograde is highlighting that. And maybe we're waking up from the fact that we have been subject to delusion for a long time, right? And once you wake up from this, you will see, that you're not going to be as easily fooled again. That's a really good lesson to see from this, So do your own research. Make sure you are aware of what's going on. Keep abreast of current events as they're happening. Okay, now Chiron is still retrograde until the 29th of December. So again, you know, a lot of woundedness, planetary woundedness has been in our faces. We've seen it. And of course, it applies to you personally. So it'll be interesting at the end of the month from the 29th onwards. You know, maybe New Year's Eve is going to be, you know, a really good jumping off point for you. Watch, you know, with retrograde Chiron, when you've been dealing with a lot of your emotional stuff, it can be really intense, like too intense, you know, and you've been dealing with sad feelings or frustrating feelings or anger issues for a long time. You know, you haven't been able to get over that block that you've got. You know, things are really tough. Don't be surprised if it's like a slingshot that on the 29th onwards that you have big revelations, or that the floodgates open and whatever you've been holding on to and has been stuck actually starts being purged and coming forward. So I know a lot of people have had major difficulties, particularly this year, with you know, that transformative Pluto energy. They've had a lot of difficulty dealing with their emotions because they're in your face. You have to, this is part of the Great Awakening. This is part of a massive transformation that is going on. And it's been tough for some people. And Chiron is pushing that so that you wake up. You wake up and you transform and you go forward, and you will as a stronger person as that happens. So just be aware of that, guys. Okay, so that is December in a nutshell. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments below. I read all of your comments and I do get to them. And also, you know, if there's any topics that you would like me to discuss, make a note in the comments below. And if I can, and if I'm capable, I will cover those topics for you. It helps when I've got your ideas, you know, so I don't have to continually try, what am I going to talk about this week, you know, blah, blah, blah. So thank you so much for your support. We've, you know, as most of you know, I lost a major audience because of what went down a month or so ago, and we're creeping back up. So I really do need your support to keep going. I know it's just numbers. I still enjoy, it doesn't matter whether I've got 50 in an audience or 5,000. I still enjoy doing this. You know, I know people are doing the inner work. There's a massive 21 in the series of inner work, and I know people have been actually doing that. Which is fantastic. It's really, you know, I'm not wasting my time. I'm not wasting my words. I just, you know, if just one person is doing the inner work and is using what I've provided, it's a beautiful feeling. And, you know, I'm glad to do that for you. All the content on my Rumble channel is free of charge. I do, however, now have a buy me a wine. Buy me a wine, let's have a wine together, or a coffee on my website. And it just is, if you feel like, you know, I'd really like to give Jules something for, you know, the amount of work that she puts in. The facility is now on my website. I haven't done that in the past. Everything that I've done on that other platform and this one has been without any return of value other than your beautiful presence, which I'm very, very grateful for. So guys, I hope you, for those that celebrate Thanksgiving, enjoy it. And I hope December is kind to you. Watch out for the family affairs. Watch out for Christmas Day. Watch out for your communication, because there's going to be a lot of it, as I've said. So everyone take care. Care and share. The pod thumbs up, please. That would be really helpful. And I will see you again soon. Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Bye.